Welcome to the first show of the 1995 football season. Bob Behler, along with the head coach of the Bison, Tom Gadd. And Coach Gadd, what a way to open up the season. First shutout since 1983. You blank Southern Connecticut 20-0. Rich Lemon gets the career rushing record, and Rob Byrd, for all his tackles, gets Defensive Player of the Week in the Patriot League.
Yeah, it was a fun way to open, and we know a little bit more about ourselves now than we did going in, and hopefully that we can progress from here.
During the show, we'll take a look at highlights of the game. We'll also be visiting with our special guests, Steve Noteboom and Charles Crudup. But first, we're going to visit with offensive coordinator Craig Moropoulos and defensive coordinator David Kotulski to find out what's new with Bucknell. John McHenry has the story.
Over the past year, the Bucknell football team has changed their overall scheme, with new offensive-defensive philosophies introduced by new head coach Tom Gadd. We will be talking to offensive coordinator Craig Moropoulos, defensive coordinator David Kotulski about the team's transition.
It's been a real smooth transition. The young men that wanted to be successful, and that's why they came to Bucknell, because they wanted to be successful, not only academically but athletically, and I think they were eager for an opportunity to have success, and we talked about that a lot and what it took to be successful, and so it was a lot of one-on-one work between the coaches and the players, but also a lot of hard work in terms of working in the weight room, running in the conditioning, and then getting ready for two-day practice.
When asked about the new defensive philosophy, Coach Kotulski had this to say.
In terms of the style, as I said, it's going to be more of a 50 look or a 3-4 from a pro style. We're going to have an opportunity every time we line up. The offense is going to have to figure out who's coming, who's dropping, and we're going to use a lot of speed to make those decisions very quickly for the offense. I hope the fans will leave with is that there was 11 kids, that every time the ball was down, there was 11 kids around the ball.
Offensive coordinator Craig Moropoulos talks about the new West Coast offense.
I learned mine through the Bill Walsh system and through a gentleman named Ron Turner, who's offensive coordinator at Chicago Bears, who kind of took that system to another level in the running game. I mean, he's a big believer in establishing the run game, and I like that philosophy, and that's what we're trying to incorporate along with the intermediate passing game that Joe Montana made so famous when he was with the 49ers and others.
Coach Moropoulos on Rich Lemon's use in the new West Coast offense.
I don't think we can give him the ball 40 times. I don't think his stature, his small physical, stature. I don't think we can hand him the ball that many times. But we want to get him the ball. We're going to throw him the ball a lot. We're going to hand it to him. We're going to toss it to him. We're going to get him on the move. But in general, we're going to use him similar to what they've done. They've used him a lot in the past, but I think we're going to use him a little bit more through the air than he has been used in the past. Well, I want him to be able to say that there was a lot of variation. It was very unpredictable. We were running out of a lot of different looks, a lot of the same type of runs and passes, but a lot of different formations, and the fact that we kept the ball and it worked like clockwork. A lot of high percentage throws, not a lot of turnovers. Boy, and you want somebody to walk away saying, hey, listen, they really, really knew what they were doing, and they were really, really well schooled on what to do, and that's what our job is, and that's what we were working so hard for now, and to give our kids a chance to do that, we have to really prepare them and get them understanding exactly what we want.
Thanks a lot, John, and also to Craig and Dave for giving us an overview on the offense and defense. And Tom, when you assembled your staff, you were able to get some pretty good guys on the staff this year.
Yeah, one of the advantages of coaching all over the country for all the years that I've been in it is I've met some good coaches along the way, and I think any coach that takes a head football coaching job has an idea of how he'd like to put the staff together. It's not something that just was an afterthought. I knew pretty much how I wanted to assemble the staff and what I wanted, what type of people I was looking for, and I was fortunate to get the type of guys I wanted.
Before we get to the highlights of Southern Connecticut, maybe give us your thoughts on how the practice went leading up to the first game. It was hot, it was dry, and pretty tough conditions, I guess.
I think the kids did a really nice job. We tried to be more intense in practice. We tried to keep the tempo in practice at a really quick pace, did a lot of repetitions, gave them a lot of opportunities, and they handled it very well. I think that you know, that Bucknell is characterized by individuals who want to be successful, and what we're trying to do is implement a situation and a program that will give them that chance, and they've responded.
This past Saturday against Southern Connecticut, it was very successful, a 20-0 win. We'll be back to take a look at those highlights after this 90-second timeout. Optical fiber for your voice, video, and data communications and cookware for your home is an enthusiastic supporter of Bucknell students, faculty, and staff who are committed to excellence both on and off the football field. Corning Incorporated is a diversified products and services company with a strong commitment to technological excellence and innovation.
Since 1846, scholars have come together at Bucknell to ask questions and explore answers. Inspired by the fresh spirit of the newest student and the seasoned wisdom of the faculty, this meeting of minds fosters achievement. Bucknell professors enjoy national reputation, and Bucknell students are known for their intelligence. Their lively exchanges extend from classrooms and seminars to informal meetings in faculty offices and the campus snack bar. Bucknell is a comfortable place for the tradition of the classy and the demands of today's society. The arts, humanities, and sciences thrive alongside professional programs in engineering, education, management, and music. The environment for this growing diversity and the ongoing meeting of minds is a very beautiful campus in central Pennsylvania. Bucknell's stately buildings and beautiful trees and gardens provide an ideal collegiate setting. Bucknell, with 3,300 undergraduates and over 260 faculty members who sustain the spirit that is this university and who carry it with them throughout their lives.
Again, the Bison opened with a big 20-0 win over Southern Connecticut. Before we get to the highlights, Coach, what do you think was the best thing about this game that was the season opener against the Owls?
I thought our intensity early in the game was the best part. It was something we really wanted to achieve. We'd like to be able to achieve it over a longer period of time. I thought that was probably the disappointing part, was that we didn't keep that intensity, but the players came out, they really worked hard. The sense of being a team on the sidelines was really good.
I think that you guys shut down Ellis Robinson, a 1,000-yard running back. I think he had, what, 20 yards at the half and was really a non-factor in the ballgame.
Well, I think that it's going to be hard to run on our defense. I've said that all along. I think we do enough things defensively, and the players have picked it up, and they've taken pride in what they're doing. And I don't see, you know, not that we won't have a bad day, but I think that in the long run, you'll find that our defense is going to be pretty good.
Let's get to first-half highlights right now. Bucknell in Southern Connecticut. The Owls would receive, and it's going to be a big hit for Brian Davis on the opening kickoff, and I believe he was your special teams player of the week.
Brian made the first 2 tackles on the special teams and really established field position for us. I think that as key to anything in winning this game was field position, and our special teams really gave it to us.
Right there, they get Southern Connecticut bottled up in their own end, and after an exchange of punts, the first turnover is going to go Bucknell's way. Again, we're going to see a couple of plays here where Robinson doesn't get much, but the defense, I think, set the tone very early.
Well, they came out and really hustled and got a lot of people around the football, and Willie Hill's interception was a credit to his athleticism and really set our offense up with a chance to do something.
Fullback Scott Rowe is still looking for the ball. It's up in the air, and as Coach Gadd mentioned, Willie Hill comes down with it, and you're able to take the short field. You have to move less than 70 yards and take it in for the score.
Well, we'll be good offensively if we don't have to play on an 80-yard field. I think that all good offensive football teams look for field position. You play on a short field, you're going to score points. Rich
Lemon there goes over the mark set by Brian Hennessy for all-time rushing. He's now at 2,783. Strong run here by Jeff Bombick on a 3rd and 1, picking up a total of 6 yards there. He rushed for 40 yards, most rushing yardage for a Bucknell fullback in 3 seasons. And on this drive, you ran the ball down their throat, and you ran left behind Donkers and Gay throughout the whole drive until the final play you went for a pass.
Well, we knew a couple of their adjustments based on how we were going to set up our offensive formation, and we just took advantage of what they gave us. The ball was on that one hash, so we kept running into the short side.
And here's going to be the touchdown play. Jim Fox to Milton Moore, and Bucknell is on the board very early in the game. You lead at 7-0, 4.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Kind of a coach's dream, just march the ball right down the field and then get the short pass for the touchdown.
Yeah, you know, if we'd had to script it, that's about how we'd have done it.
As we look at Jim Fox, we're going to see him a little bit later on in the show complete the passes. Was the idea to bring him on a little bit slow?
Well, I think Jim's going to be in a learning situation. He had some trouble through a couple passes into coverage that he shouldn't have thrown, but we knew that he was going to struggle with it, and it's going to be an ongoing process. I think he handled himself very well in the first game, and he'll get better as we go.
Pick up the highlights now a little bit later on in the first quarter. Again, Bucknell at this stage is leading by the score of 7-0, and Southern Connecticut with the football. And we're going to see Robinson get nailed for a loss. Some nice plays by Ed Berman, who finished with 10 tackles, 3 of them for loss.
Ed's really, ready to be the senior leader, one of the leaders for our football team. He had a great junior year, and he's bigger and stronger and more mature, and it's his turn to be a senior leader.
Any truth to the rumors the wrestling coach is looking for George Hawanitz with this nice takedown right here? We'll see it from both angles. Just picks him up and throws him back.
Yeah, he really did a nice job, and I think what this shows is that if a running back doesn't get up in a crease real quick, that our pursuit's going to have a chance to get to him.
And here Jim Fox makes a couple of nice catches. This one, Steve Noteboom reacting very well to a tip ball, and then Cal Wilcox is going to come up with a nice fingertip catch.
These were two really big plays. We've talked to our receivers all along that, in order to take the pressure off of Rich, that we've got to have big plays out of our wide receiver and tight end core, and I think we will.
Ends up in a 22-yard field goal for Rich Miller, and the Bison lead 10-0 now very early in the second quarter. After stopping Southern Connecticut on a 3-and-out, Jim Fox again making some nice throws, and looks like he's gaining confidence as the game goes along.
Yeah, he got better, and they gave us some things in their coverage, and you'll see us hit a few outs here in a row, outside routes, and there again, Noteboom making a big play, and he also did a great job in special teams. 8
receivers with at least a catch. No one had more than 2. Jim Fox, 11 of 22 for 137, and this is the play Tom Gadd wanted. Fox is going to float it in and make room for the touchdown.
Great vision on Fox's part. I had pretty much the same angle he did, and I never saw Grimm, so, of course, he's 6'4".
And there's somebody that's entering your Paint Your Face contest, Tom, that you had. People enjoying the 17-0 lead, and the defense would preserve the shutout here at the end of the half, a sack and a couple of passes knocked down.
Well, I think the big thing at the end of the half is we got the ball on the 1-yard line. Our offense was able to punch the ball out and get a first down, not turn it over and give them a chance to take any momentum into the locker room.
And there was Rob Bird coming up with a pass deflection. Again, he was Patriot League Defensive Player of the Week. And Hunter Adams, you got some tall guys in there and some aggressive guys in that front line with Adams, Berman, and then you got Bird. And I know Wally Hurdley got hurt in the first half, one of your linebackers, and that's probably the worst news to come out of it.
Yeah, it was a real loss. Great kid. Football is very important to him. He had really paid a great price to be a starter, and to have him get hurt on the first play is really sort of a tragedy.
How did it happen? I didn't see him, and the next thing I know, he's sitting on the bench.
Well, he actually played with it for about 3 plays after he got injured, and what happened is an offensive blocker coming off a block just sort of hit him right at knee level. It's not a real noticeable deal. It's not one of those twisting, turning, torquing type of injuries. It just, he got popped just right, and the ligament gave way.
Is he out for the year?
Yes, he's going to have surgery and be lost for the year. And it's too bad. He's an outstanding individual.
And, of course, Hurley was counted on, of course, at the inside linebacker spot. We'll now pick up the highlights as we move to the second half. Bucknell winning by the score of 17-0. And, Coach, your defense, I think, wanted this shutout in the second half, especially when the game got down towards the end. Charles Crudup here comes over from a center field type position, makes a great interception. We'll see it from ground level, coming over to help out on the sideline, and it was a great job.
I think the defense did a little better job of keeping their intensity level in the second half, and other than a call that sort of upset us, we kept them pinned down, and like I said, field position was critical.
And again, they couldn't get the run going. They finished with no yards rushing in the first half, and were in the 20 to 30 range for the entire game. John Sikowski makes a nice move here along the sideline.
John played very well, and all the wide receivers blocked really well. I think that was a real key to the football game, is our downfield blocking.
Did a pretty good job on third down today.
Well, we hit some passes, and again, we knew, based on their coverages, that we were going to be able to throw the ball to the outside, and we did.
Here you're going to get a fumble, but Marius Miziak is going to come out of nowhere from his tackle spot to keep the drive alive.
Play of the game. Really sort of the idea of why we do all the running that we do is that extra effort. And you never know when your number's going to be called and you're going to make that hustle play, and he did a great job.
Number 78 was called on that one. That sets up another Rich Miller field goal. He would make 2 of 3 field goals on the day, and that would give Bucknell its 20th point very early in the fourth quarter. And we're going to see defensive highlights here. They got inside the 20, one of 2 different drives, and Charles Crudup was giving away about 5 inches on Ortiz. Does a great job knocking it away.
Well, we've worked real hard on playing the football in the air, and Charles does a great job there.
And here they're going to go for it on 4th down and 8, and once again, the defense is up to the task. A lot of pressure.
Well, you can't let the quarterback stand back there and set his feet, and for the most part, we were able to keep him moving.
Southern Connecticut would get the ball down close again to try to get the bagel off the scoreboard, and we're looking at a 3rd and 1 here, a blitz, and I think Jack Boyle gets your sack.
Yeah, this is out of our nickel defensive coverage and bring our safeties up and bring them, and Jack did a nice job.
And here they call a timeout to set their fourth down play. You set your defense.
Well, we pressured them. During the timeout there, we talked about we weren't going to sit back there and let them choose their weapons, so we were going to come after them and make them do something quick.
What's the feeling on the sidelines for the shutout? I know we've talked about it the first in 12 years, and I think it gives you a lift because it's something that hasn't been accomplished much here before.
I hadn't thought that much about it at game time. You know, in the locker room, you could see it in the eyes of the kids. It was important to them during the timeout there before their fourth down. You could see how important to the kids it was to achieve that. And it's a great way for the defense to start. It gives them some respect and gives them some feeling towards each other that they go out there and play and do what we ask them to do, that they'll be successful.
Congratulations on a great game. It'll get tougher next week, and a little later in the show we'll be talking about the Fordham Rams, the next opponent. But right now we'll pause for this timeout. We'll be back to talk with our special guests, Steve Noteboom and Charles Crudup. But first, these messages. This is Bucknell Football 95 is sponsored by Corning Incorporated. Corning, who provides catalytic converters for your car, optical fiber for your voice, video, and data communications, and cookware for your home, is an enthusiastic supporter of Bucknell students, faculty, and staff who are committed to excellence both on and off the football field. Corning Incorporated is a diversified products and services company with a strong commitment to technological excellence and innovation. Welcome back to Bucknell Football 95, joined by wide receiver Steve Noteboom and defensive back Charles Crudup, both seniors on this 1995 Bucknell team. And Steve, we'll start the questioning with you. We've talked a lot today about the West Coast offense. In what ways does that change your role as a wide receiver?
Well, I guess Coach Moropoulos is definitely emphasizing the short pass, the high percentage pass, and he's putting not pressure necessarily, but he gives a lot of responsibility as far as getting yards after the catch.
And that was something that we saw in a couple of your catches on Saturday, being able to pick it up after the catch. How do you do that?
It's something you have to do. I guess, we're all recruited to do the job. And, Coach Moropoulos, like I said, putting the job in front of us, and we're expected to do it.
Charles, the defense looks to me like it's a lot more of aggressive style this year. Does that put more pressure on you guys in the secondary if more people are swarming around the ball at the front?
No, I think that's what everybody wants. I mean, we like it up-tempo, want to get after the team and, make mistakes. And it's great. It's a lot better than, what we're used to here.
Talk about your play over the years that you've been here. You've been a starter for a couple of years now. What ways do you think you're better in secondary than you were, say, when you first became a starter here, or even when you first came to Bucknell?
I think I'm in better shape. Our conditioning has picked up over the past couple of years. Fundamentally, I think I've improved a lot over the years. And I think I'm more confident now. I mean, before I went out and I thought I could do it, but now I know I can get the job done.
Basically, a lot of that is experience and hard work, you think?
Yeah.
I think we've got some highlights to look at, both Steve and Charles. Let's see if we can go to the videotape right now and look at Steve's first play, which will be a kickoff coverage play. And Steve, tell us what you're doing to be able to get down there so quickly and make the tackle.
Well, Coach wants us to run down the field as fast as we can, and I guess my responsibility here is to stay on the hash and get the tackle. I avoid a couple people, and I did that.
Steve's a multi-talented one, not only plays special teams, but one is a key receiver, and right here makes the catch over the middle.
Coach talks about, like I said, getting yards after the catch, and we needed the first. I think it was 3rd and 8, and I just got 16, I think, on that play.
More difficult catching it in traffic than when you're all alone, or sometimes it's just the other way that's more difficult?
I think it's difficult if you think about it, so I try not to think about who's around me. For me and the ball and Fox.
I asked Charles about ways he's better. How would you assess your play over 4 years, and which ways do you think you're better now?
I think it comes a lot with confidence, too. I guess you get used to the system, and then, your talents start kicking in. And I guess, especially with new coaches, they expect seniors to step up and take leadership roles, make it easier on them, and, trying to do that as far as my play and, what I'm all about on the field.
Got a couple plays here now for Charles. Let's take a look at your interception. It looked like you were coming out of a free safety kind of position.
Yeah, this is our dime coverage, and basically I was playing a free safety. We were playing a little zone. I was just reading the quarterback's eyes to the ball. Came up with the play. 3 clear interceptions for Charles, first of the season. And here, how do you go against somebody that's much taller than you are when it's almost a jump ball situation? Well, the first thing is to get inside position, because it's hard to come over the top of a taller receiver. And there was a lot of pushing and shoving going on, so you just got to stand your ground. You got to do it slyly, right, so you don't get called, yeah. or so they don't get called, too? Oh, yeah. Keep your hands low so the referees don't see it. Charles, what's the toughest thing about covering somebody like Steve? What makes him a good receiver? I guess leverage. Being a taller receiver, you can moving smaller guys out, going across the middle or going for the deep ball, and also just the longer strides of the taller receiver. They can cover a lot of ground.
Steve, what makes him difficult to go against when he's got you?
Charlie knows my moves. He's definitely ready for anything you're going to throw at him. Again, he's talking about experience, and he's definitely got the feel for it out there for a receiver.
Let's talk about a little bit about you guys off the football field. Steve, I know you had the opportunity last year to win the Arthur Ashe Award, which was quite a prestigious award. Maybe tell us a little bit about that and some of the activities you're involved in off campus.
Well, the Arthur Ashe Award is sponsored by Black Issues of Higher Education. They selected 22, I think, football players. Actually, it was 22 football players in Division I for excellence on and off the field, and I guess I got that. I'm glad I got that, actually. I'm also involved, I guess, with DTA. I talked to you about DTA earlier. It's Diversified Treatment Alternatives. And while I have the mic, I guess I'll say, what's up, Anton? What's up, Anton? Good to see you. It's a shelter for young men, I guess, ages between 7 and, I think, 15. And they have problems in their life, and I don't pretend that I got here by myself, and I think it's important that everyone has some type of role model in their life. So I thought it was important that I reach out and actually help somebody instead of just taking from that.
Well, Steve, thanks for being with us today. Charles, maybe tell us about yourself. What you're majoring in? You guys are, as Steve said, I think earlier we were talking. You guys are old. You're getting to the end of the line, and getting your diploma coming up in May. And maybe tell us about that.
Yeah, well, I'm a sociology major, and I'm really unsure of exactly what I'm going to do after I graduate, but I wanted to try to go into social work and help out with young kids and that type of thing.
Well, Charles, thanks for being with us today. Great job against Southern Connecticut. We'll expect it from you the rest of the season as well. Charles Crudup and Steve Noteboom, our guests. Tom Gadd and I will be back to talk about the Fordham Rams after this timeout.
Athletic Club in care of Bucknell University, or call 717-524-1358.
Tom Gadd has rejoined us on the set of Bucknell Football 95. I think the test gets a little tougher. It's Fordham, it's in the Bronx, and it's a league game. And this team looks like they can throw the football with returning quarterback Joe Moorhead.
Well, Joe was the Patriot League offensive player of the week, and he's had great success in his first 2 games. They throw it all around. They generally are basically a one-back set, and they don't make any bones about it. They're going to throw the football. So we'll have to go in there and pressure him and do a good job with our coverages.
What do you think will be the key to stopping their high-powered offense?
I think pressure. Anytime that you're playing somebody who wants to throw the football, again, like we did this last week, we've got to be able to keep him moving. He's a real tall kid. He's not real fast, and we can't let him sit back there and plant his feet and choose which receiver he wants to throw to.
Now, on the offensive side of the ball, you can help your defense out if you can have a good time of possession, especially like you did in the second and third quarters against Southern Connecticut.
Yeah, we just need to sustain ourselves for 4 quarters. We did a pretty good job of ball control for 3 quarters. In the 4th quarter, we didn't have the same intensity level that we played with early on.
Excitement because it's a league game. Last year there was like 6 non-league games, and all of a sudden the league game, you jump right into the frying pan, and if the goal is to win the league, which I believe it is, makes this one a very, very important football game.
All league games are fun. It gives more meaning to it, and we have a lot of our athletes are from the New York, New Jersey area, and so this will be going home for them, and so we're looking forward to it.
Any particular aspect of our game plan you think needs to click to win this game?
I think that we have to sustain. I think that we have to become more focused for 3 hours. I think that everybody talks about football being a 1-hour game, but that's only by the clock. It's a 3-hour game, and to hold your focus that long is the key.
And Fordham, of course, and Bucknell have played some close games last year. Bucknell had to win in the final seconds. It was a wild one, and might be the same type of game this year. Well,
there's no doubt that Fordham thinks they can win this football game. I mean, they probably feel like they were robbed last year, and that probably is stuck in their craw. So we're going to have to go in there and get started quickly and do like we did this week. We're going to have to go in and get started in the first quarter and let them know that we're out there with singular purpose.
In just a few seconds we have left, is it more difficult to go on the road?
I hope not. We'll let you know next week, but some teams play well on the road, others don't. I think that's what we've tried to prepare these kids to do.
Well, Tom, we look for a good game against the Fordham Rams. Good luck getting off to a 2-0 start. If you do it, you'll be the first coach since 1965 in his first year to do it, and we're counting on you to be back here to talk about a win next week.
Thanks.
Tom Gadd, our guest, along with our special player guests, Steve Noteboom and also Charles Crudup. And again, tune in to Bucknell Football 95 every